Talk your smack. Talk. You're not ready. Wait, he's actually not ready. He's actually not. Oh, get destroyed. What a scrub. What a scrub. Sit yourself down. Hello and welcome, Exiles, to the Day 2 update to the Bloodmage. We're currently about 20 hours of progress based on the clips I just opened with. And I want to talk about some things that are very need to know for starting this character. A lot of common questions I've gotten. I've been going through doing a lot of updates. I'm going to try to answer most of them and do some timestamps for this video. Now, first things first, just going to go hit you with some FAQ questions. These are questions I get all the time. They're very common. I've updated them down here in the notes section of the planner. Things like, where do you get the spirit? When did you swap from Essence Drain? This is probably one of the biggest ones I get. I swapped around level 45. This is probably the earliest I would recommend doing it. When I did the swap, the character was a bit scuffed. It was a bit potato. My mana was whack. I needed to buy the Bloodmage helmet. Or if you can't afford the Bloodmage helmet, you need to get some mana regen gear. It's a bit scuffed. I would advise, if you want to have the smoothest time, you can just keep playing Essence Drain Lich a little bit longer, more to like level 55-ish. Make sure you can get enough money to afford the Blood Magic helmet and then do the swap. It's probably going to be the smoothest transition. So that is up to you if you want to go for it as early as I did. Now, outside of that, other things, there's just some quest rewards and can the build be played without Snakebit? The answer is yes, I was playing without Snakebit. And I didn't do this because I couldn't afford the Greater Jeweler at the time. Right now, Greater Jewels have been going down. They're down to 10x now, so they're a bit more affordable. But what I'd recommend if you want to play without Snakebit, use the Fork Support Gem instead of Plus on Fire Mastery. Plus on Fire Mastery is about 10% more damage, so it shouldn't feel that different. Obviously, your Forked Projectiles will have the 30% less damage multiplier applied to them, but for the most part, it should still work pretty well for the clear. Okay, so that covers some of the FAQ questions. I just want to start that out, get that out of the way. I am, of course, adding more gear sets. Right now, these are snapshots of my character throughout the League launch. This one is from my test character before League launch, but then the Act 4-ish gear all the way through. This is basically all the stuff we had as we swapped to Ember Fusillade plus the Fireball setup. Now, let's go ahead and go in game. And I want to talk a bit about gearing for the character. When you're talking about this character, the priority number one for damage, if you want to make your damage look like mine, it's gem level, gem level, gem level, and then some percent damage where you can get it, and some crit chance where you can get it. And where do you get gem levels? It's from your wand, your amulet, and your focus. Now, I have set up on this character a bunch of weighted sum searches, which I'd recommend you look at. That is what this is right here. Better trading extension. You can get it for Firefox if you use this link here, or you can do it for Chrome if you just go to the extension. All you need to do, Control-C this whole thing of text, go to import folder. That's what this is. I am updating it whenever I make changes. For example, I started adding some items to have support for the fact you can roll hybrid chaos res, which is something I just found out today. As you can see, these belts now have hybrid chaos res in the weightings. There's a couple items I need to add it to. I haven't done that yet, but I'm working through them when I realize, oh, I haven't added those hybrid mods. And if I find out more of the unveiled mods are useful for the build, I will add them into the weighted sums. So I'm working through that right now. But simply put, Fire Wand, Rare Focus, and Rare Amulet. These are your gem level items. And I want to stress really quick right now. Actually, I'm going to take fire damage out because fire damage is actually not useful for this, because when you use Black Flame, percent fire damage does not contribute. That being said, if you want to stay fire-based, that is fine. Black Flame has some advantages. Mainly, it looks cooler, whereas fire maybe is a bit better damage scaling, but we'll talk about that in a bit. And I'm going to update this while I'm thinking about it. But point is, when you search for your item, change the minimum weighting and look for gem level, gem level, gem level, mandatory stat. And then after that, look for the percent damages and then like percent crit or cast speed. This is what's going to help you have good damage. And then what you're going to do is you're going to buy this item and then get a preserved jawbone. So I'll showcase this real quick here. This is a +3 double gain wand. You're going to buy this item like so, And then you're going to take a jawbone to it. Doesn't have to be preserved. It can be gnawed. These are like, you can get 4 of these for 1x right now or something on trade. Like, they're crazy cheap. That gave us a suffix, and you're going to take these to the Well of Ascension. I should make a separate video about Well of Ascension. I think I will do that because these things are incredibly strong for guaranteed additional power to your item. And what this does is it gives you a choice of 3 affixes. There's a high chance you can get cast speed, high chance you can get crit chance for spells, and it'll be a nice damage multiplier. Crit damage bonus, that's a nice damage multiplier. Very cheap additional way to add power to the wand. And then of course you can blind summon it if you want to, but that's a good way to get yourself a cheap early access point to gem levels, thus damage scaling when you go for that early swap. So that showcases where you do it on wand. And then on amulets, I would try to go for at least a +2 if you can. They should be relatively cheap, just a few chaos here and there. Also, if you see that all these prices are in chaos, the reason is right now chaos shows up in terms of the trade API as cheaper than exalted orbs, but they're not. They're more expensive than exalted orbs. So what you can do if you want to see the exalt price, you can go down here, select exalted orbs, click search, and you're probably going to find some items that are actually in fact cheaper than the chaos listings, but they don't show up earlier than the chaos listings do. So that's one of the things you can do here. Now, a lot of these don't have +2s. You want to be making sure you have +2 at the very least in the amulet that you do buy. And then last but certainly not least, you may look at my focus and say, Lance, that's an extremely expensive focus. It has +3 gem levels. I've never seen that before. And that's because it didn't exist before this league, and they added a really, really overpowered essence. It's called the Perfect Essence of Sorcery, which can guarantee a +3 level, something that previously was not rollable on a focus. And I want to run you down how you can make yourself a really good focus for your build for a lot lower cost. So what you can do here is you can go to the trade, you can type in rare focus. You can maybe, let's just, for example, we're just going to ignore all these other stats and we're only going to look at spell damage and chaos damage because those are the 2 stats we care about as a Black Flame build. And I'll type this in and we'll search and I'll sort by highest. Now, these are obviously super expensive ones. This is 84. This is very high % damage scaling. And this guy already put the +3 on it. But let's go ahead and say, what would that be? 160 times 4. It's like, yeah, that's basically 600. So let's go for like a 500 roll. Let's see if there's a 500 weight. So 5 chaos. What you see right here is 70%, 60%. You go and you buy something like this, which has specifically full suffixes. And I'm going to explain, why do you want full suffixes? The reason you would want full suffixes for an item like this right here, this is very good, 5 chaos. The reason you want full suffixes is because if you look at this, it says specifically removes a random modifier, removes a random, but it's not actually random. The key component here is, I should probably go ahead and buy some, or not, what am I doing? Chaos orbs? Yeah, I should buy some chaos orbs.
All right, your order is registered.
All right. It specifically says random, but it's not random because what you can do is, if you have full suffixes, you guarantee cannot remove a prefix. The reason being is if it has to put on a +3 to all spells, that means it cannot remove a prefix because it would have to remove a suffix in order to put that suffix on, because plus alls is a spell gem level. So what will happen is I'll go over to this, I'll pop it on, and you'll notice mana, chaos damage, spell damage, those are guaranteed safe, right? And that took off the ideal situation. That's res, crit chance, +3 all, chaos damage, spell damage. And you might be wondering to yourself, Lance, how much do these cost? Now, I thought they were going to be worth a divine because I bought a couple last night when I was crafting with them. But then I woke up this morning and guess what? They're not actually that rare. There's actually a ton on the market for very cheap. You see this one for 13 exalts. We'll go ahead and buy this one because I'm going to showcase using it real quick here. And the fun thing about this is you can use it even more targeted than this. And I'm going to use this to showcase how I'm upgrading from this focus right here to a new focus where I was going to guarantee myself a crit chance upgrade. Funny thing is this one also has crit on it, so that's kind of cool, but I'll showcase it real quick here. If you look at this focus, you'll notice it has int, crit chance, chaos damage +2, good spell damage, and energy shield. Now, the fun fact about this energy shield is it already has +2 all. What happens if you have to remove a random quote unquote mod to get +3? Well, +2 all and +3, I would assume, share the same mod group, which means they cannot exist together, which means this +3 has to remove the +2 in order to add the +3. Either that or I'm getting a +5 focus. It already has a mod of that type? Oh my, they thought of it. Okay, well, I thought I was being cheeky and I thought I was going to guarantee myself a +3 on this, but I guess not. They have already thought of the fact that it can remove, and they just put in a safety feature. All right, fair enough. Well played, GGG. Okay, so this is your example then, is basically grab high percent damage, then do a +3 as shown here, and that is how you make yourself a focus upgrade. Hopefully that was educational for anyone who wants to make themselves a good focus. The sorcery perfect essences, they're honestly pretty cheap. So it's super easy to grab a focus that has some decent percent damage and then just chuck the +3 on there, and there you go. You're cooking with gas. That's all there is to it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this look at making a focus upgrade. Hopefully that makes some sense. Cutting in the video real quick to give one quick tip for something that's very important. We are a blood mage. We spend a lot of life. Our skills, as we level them up, have more and more life cost. How do we deal with this? Well, it's mainly due to the spell leech, but a lot of times we will cast a lot of skills before we hit any enemies, so we'll spend our life down, which puts us in a precarious situation. To deal with this, I would recommend actually one of these flasks, ones that have the instantly recovered. This means if you have some situation where you start casting Ember Fusillade and it hasn't gone off yet, and you have a bunch of enemies jumping towards you and you need some instant health, you can kind of spam click this flask to heal yourself, as well as just having a decent flask on you whenever you have situations where you're not leeching, where the enemy goes into some immunity phase. Can highly recommend. Definitely make sure you upgrade and give yourself a decent life flask. It goes a long way. Real quick, just because I forgot to cut this in, specifically about items in gearing in character, I want to mention the Thane's Girt Rune of Wildness. I can highly recommend this, as we have Ember Fusillade and we have both that and we have a Fireball, right? Specifically, we have nodes on the tree that say this node, chance for additional projectiles when you cast. Between this wheel here and these nodes here, we have 50% chance to get 2 additional projectiles. With this, we have that up to 75%. Ember Fusillade, the amount of like things that appear next to your character, is based on that projectile count. So you'll notice we get 1 versus a lot of times we get 3. Is a big improvement in terms of how fast you proc multiple shots to hit the enemy, and a big improvement in terms of clear for your fireball. A lot of times when you unleash, you'll have extra projectiles, or occasionally we have wild shards on Broth, which can give a much different looking giga projectiles. If I can proc a wild shard hit here, I want to showcase a wild shard proc, but I can't. But you probably saw in the Mapping Showcase. It should be a 25% chance to get the +8 projectiles, and then that's when you get the big giga explosions in the map, and it happens quite a bit. But for some reason, there we go. That's what it looks like to get a wild shards proc. Anyways, I just wanted to cut that in. And now let's get into a, I guess, showcase of how the build's working out. We are currently at level 84. I did a couple T15 maps earlier today. Got a couple more levels than I was on stream. And I gotta be honest, I am just loving how this character's feeling. I, of course, am a controller player. So in terms of the gameplay, I just like controller gameplay. Obviously, UI management, controller is just way worse. Hopefully at some point that is not the case, or they give us the ability to do the perfect seamless hot swap, but that has not been something they've done recently. And I'll showcase what the build looks like doing a T15 boss. Here we have 4 mods on this, and we have Frozen Falls with Irradiated Zone. I've just been kind of working my way through getting Atlas passives and progressing the character, and I'm trying to speak fast. Probably can't. Maybe it's obvious, maybe it's not obvious that I'm trying to go through this kind of fast, is because my kids are asleep right now, and I'm just trying to get this video done before they wake up. I didn't have enough time to record it last night. Well, not that I didn't have enough time, I just got too tired, so that's why I'm recording it in the morning. I have a little bit more energy on the recording to do so. Gameplay wise, if people are running about the skill rotation, it's pretty much just Ember Fusillade for single target and just in between fireball cast. Fireball's unleashed, so it's on a bit of a timer for when it's useful to cast. And then whenever you see like a big pack of monsters, that's when you go and you put in the fireball, and it just goes everywhere. Now you may notice that I am generating fire infusions here throughout this footage, and the way I'm doing that is through one, the perfusion reservation, which gives you a chance to generate infusions on igniting enemies. But I also have on my wand, I have the new Spellslinger wand, and I have a living bomb attached to it. If you've seen living bomb, real quick, or sorry, not living bomb. If you've seen Spellslinger, you might be wondering what that is. It is a meta gem that generates energy. Meta gem might not be the right word, but it's a reservation that generates energy every time you cast based on the cast you're doing, or its cast time. It generates energy. It stores up that energy. You'll see right here this 16 counter down here at the bottom. And whenever I want to activate that, it is an instant proc. It doesn't take any cast time from my character. It will then put living bombs on enemies, which generate fire infusions. I also tested snaps, which seemed decent. I'm not sure if snap was better than the living bomb, but they both work pretty dang well, I would say. And then on top of that, is it necessary? No, you could probably play without the Spellslinger, but I've been enjoying it. I'm not sure if a living bomb or infusion is the correct play yet. Maybe the correct answer is going to be, where's the boss fight in this map? I don't really know where I'm going, to be honest. Maybe the correct play would be something like a nuke button where I save up a bunch of energy, and then when I get to the boss, I just get to proc like 4 spells on top of each other type of thing. That could be the play. I don't really know. Point is, I'm doing living bomb right now, and it's giving me infusions, and that's what's going on there. I'm really blind, actually. I don't know where this boss is at all, because this should be a boss one. I'll show what the single target embossing looks like, but I'm a little bit lost. I only see this rare icon. There's some monoliths. I don't know what those do. Oh, there's the boss. And the boss is gone. So that's what it looks like doing bossing right now. Our character's damage is kind of ridiculous. Basically, you despair the boss. He gets like minus 70 res. And then you just do some Ember Fusillades, some fireballs, and you're cooking with gas. One thing I will say, now that I just said curses, is real quick about curses. They changed them. Previously, you could just have a low level curse and just run with the lower mana cost. They changed them to have a line right here. Basically, if you hover the description or whatever, there used to be a second line, but I leveled it up. With that said, you can apply this curse to enemies of X level. Essentially, you need to keep leveling up your despair. If you notice your despair isn't applying to enemies, it's because it's too low level. You used to keep it low level so you could not have too much cost, but they changed it, so now you just need to level it up. And quite frankly, with a leveled up despair, you get a lot of minus res. Curse scaling goes pretty dang hard, I would say. And specifically, right now, we are utilizing a two passive tree setup in terms of our weapon swap has a bunch of curse scaling. All these green passives are the weapon set 2. Weapon set 2 is just our despair. That's it. We're snapshotting giga minus res. I have pretty much every curse magnitude node on the tree except for, well, I guess this doesn't have magnitude. This is just a bit of curse duration, but quite frankly, the boss dies way before the curse duration would ever matter. So yeah, currently right now, whenever the boss spawns in, we have weapon set 2 set to these green passive, which gives us a giga curse. You'll also notice weapon set 2 swaps out of a reduced duration to have increased duration, so our curse does last a decent amount of time. And then on top of that, our main weapon set has all the damage nodes. So when you have weapon sets, I recommend swapping between utility and damage. You don't want to have your weapon sets like lose you defenses in any form. Right now our tree is pretty like full offense and a bunch of like HP throughout, but that's currently what's going on. I probably should respec this 3 gain kill to a jewel socket, but I haven't done that yet. That's just something I need to do. But yeah, that's currently what the Bloodmage looks like. That's a quick rundown of the character. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the day 2 update. As always, thanks for watching, Exiles. Take care and peace out. Have a good one.